customer acquisition is everything. Like, so we know that in travel, that is for the B2C consumer side, how do you acquire customers efficiently and scalably is the challenge. And we know Google is changing so much. Like, it's, we felt that over the last 12 to 18 months with SEO. We were so reliant on it and it's hurt us, but it's forced us now to pivot to find other, channels of acquisition.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Travel Trends. This is your host, Dan Christian, and I'm thrilled to bring you this conversation today with a true captain of industry. And I emphasize that point because this is an industry that needed a captain, and there's no better captain for multi-day tours than Travis Pittman, the founder and CEO of TourRadar. Now, a bit of context for today's conversation. For any of our listeners that are coming to know Travis for the first time in TourRadar, well, this is the episode you've been waiting for because Travis and I have known each other for over a decade. He has been on the podcast several times, so most of our listeners are familiar with Travis, but we had the opportunity to sit down and record this discussion live at the Focusrite conference, which was perfect because we get along so well, and it's such a delight to see each other in person. And Travis and I were always the two that were fighting back to back to get multi-day recognized on the main stage. Now, I give him the full credit because he has built this extraordinary company, and no one has done for multi-day what Travis has done in the last decade. And he's finally getting the recognition that he, his team, and the company is due. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to bring this episode together right in the middle of season 6 and to feature Travis Pittman as a captain of industry. And one of the themes that I'm sure everyone will pick up on over the course of our conversation is how much innovation they've been continually driving from their inception as a company called Bugbitten through the decade as TourRadar, as they've grown to have thousands of operators globally, to his recent keynote at our AI Summit and their recent $1 million creator program called Rise. He's also very open about the challenges they face, most recently with SEO, and even highlighting the need is there to increase demand. And one of these initiatives that he's undertaken, which led in part to the Rise program, was that he and his team listened to an episode of Travel Trends that featured Conrad from At Hotel, which was titled Social is the New SEO. It was one of our most popular episodes we've ever had. And Travis and his team took that, listened to it, shared it around with the team. I had heard from many of my friends and colleagues there that it was required listening. And as you'll hear from our discussion, he took inspiration. It sort of lit a spark for them when they were facing these SEO challenges. And you'll hear how they ended up creating this really impressive program and why we were together at Focusrite. Conrad and Travis had a chance to meet and get to know each other. So two great industry colleagues that have come together by virtue of our Travel Trends podcast, which, of course, for me means the world. I'm proud to call them both friends, and it's amazing to see that spirit of collaboration. And that's one of the things I just want to credit Travis for being so open when it comes to highlighting the challenges of running a global business like he has. So I have advocated for TourRadar a number of times to investors and continue to. Travis has invited me in to speak at various events that they've held. So I continue to be a great advocate for TourRadar and what they bring to our industry. And I'm so excited to see more multi-day tour companies getting involved in the Arrival conference that both of us have done in the past year and will continue to do in 2026 in Valencia and later in Spokane, Washington, as multi-day tours really takes center stage in 2026. So there's so much to take away from this conversation. I'm really thrilled to bring it to you. Now, let's kick things off and bring Travis into the podcast. Welcome back, Travis, to Travel Trends. It's so great to have you with us and to be able to sit down here and record live.
Thank you, Dan, and thanks for the kind words and obviously, fighting the good fight for multi-day or organized adventure, as we try to call it. So, it's today. It's been an eye-opener to see that there's a lot more awareness of our category now. So we, slowly but surely, we're getting there.
Well, and you are a pioneer in this space. So let's just make sure that we don't, with our global audience, I don't want to leave anyone behind. Travis has been on our podcast. He's been on our podcast twice. He's been in event episodes. We recorded in Toronto. He's part of season 6. He's part of our AI summit. So he's known to many of our listeners, but this also goes out to the entire Focusrite community. So I just want to make sure that we don't leave anyone behind, Travis. If you wouldn't mind just giving everyone an overview of TourRadar and how long you've been at it. That's why I say you're a true pioneer in this space, because you are ahead of your time. And finally, it's getting recognition it deserves. But yeah, give a bit of an overview of TourRadar.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. So we're 15 years in, so definitely not straight out of the starting blocks, but it's we focus on multi-day tours. So it's the part of the industry that kind of got forgotten about, and everyone said, oh, no one does those things anymore, do they? They don't follow an umbrella around. But clearly there's a $200 billion segment that needed to be digitized, and that's very much what TourRadar's been doing since day dot. Is really driving forward with partners like TTC and G Adventures and Intrepid, and working with them on their APIs. And now we work with 2,500 tour operators globally, DMCs. We have 30,000 travel agents in our B2B platform. And yeah, we've got some exciting launches that I'm actually doing here at the show as well. So
that's cool. Well, I definitely want to ask you what brings you here this year, because obviously that's a big theme of us doing this event spotlight. But just before we do, you just highlighted a couple important things that I think that I want to just underscore, which is the size of the global multi-day tour or organized adventure. And again, it's like, what's the nomenclature for this category? The reality is that organizations you just highlighted, 10, 15 years ago, they were $50, $100 million companies. Now many of them are $500 million, $1 billion companies. Intrepid being one great example of that. You mentioned G as well. You think about Colette and Globus and all of these brands. These are all billion-dollar businesses today. And then you also have, to your point about 2,500 tour operators, you have all of these smaller players like One Life Adventures and like that, came out of nowhere and all of a sudden have 10,000, 20,000 passengers, and they're becoming meaningful businesses. So it is a very exciting time to be in this space. So tell us, I know you got so many different initiatives on the go and different launches, but tell us what specifically brought you to Focusrite Europe.
Yeah, so perfect timing. We've been working in the background for a while. We built out our mobile app about 9 months ago, and people said, look, people won't book a $3,000, $5,000 experience on mobile. We prove it does. So about 15% of our bookings are now transacting through the mobile app. And we saw a massive gap in social discovery. So think of a multi-day tour. How can you look at one picture and book a $3,000 8-day experience? How can you really do that? And so what we actually have done is gone full circle. I don't know if you remember the bug-bitten days.
Yeah,
my
of course I do.
Startup.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's what TourRadar evolved out of. It was all about photos, videos, community, and reviews, and we've come full circle. So we've now spent 15 years building this commerce platform. Now we're plugging in social. So we are launching TourRadar Moments tomorrow, live to the world. And it is essentially our social commerce play, connecting the social inspiration with the bookability in the app. So any customer, any traveler can upload a video, a reel, and it's attached directly to an individual tour. So one click, one tap, you're actually booking that product. So you can see a Serengeti video, you go, wow, that's amazing, click it and you book it straight away. So that's something no one else has done, and being an experiential product, we have the advantage over, say, accommodation or whatever it is, where you're not going to take a picture of your hotel room in Paris, but you're actually going to want to share your bucket list adventure that you've done in Africa, and then you want to share it on TourRadar Moments, but also on TikTok and Instagram, and that's where we're trying to work in between all the different social networks. So
very cool. Yeah. Well, as you know, Travis, I love the team, I love the business, and one of the things I just wanted to call out is that a lot of TourRadar staff listen to our podcast, and it connects to the point you were just making, which is that there was an episode of our podcast in season 4 about social is the new SEO. And I had understood from the team that it became required listening. And it's actually one of the things that we're going to focus on in season 6. We're going to bring Travis and Azaz onto the show to talk about this social first strategy. So tell everyone, if you wouldn't mind, just a brief little highlight of that with the learnings from the podcast, because we're going to really dive into that in season 6. So we'll bring a lot of people on the journey for that conversation. But just to kind of, I guess, whet everyone's appetite to learn more about the social first, tell everyone a little bit of that connectivity, because I was thrilled to hear that. And obviously Conrad runs At Hotels as a very successful business, but you were obviously to take that idea and shift it in a different direction for adventure travel.
Correct.
And clearly now it's proving to be very successful for your business, which I'm thrilled about.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we talk about it all next time, but the core elements is we need to be video, we need to be social, we need to be working with creators, guides, travelers, tour operators to get this content and share it. And so we have seen that working with creators that are what you call influencers, where 5,000, 10,000 followers is the sweet spot of where you actually get them leaning into you because they want exposure to your network. And then obviously, working with the bigger ones is good, but they're more expensive. And there's a lot more of these people who want to actually almost have a bit of a side hustle. And that's what we've seen. There's some companies like Fora Travel, they're doing the side hustle advisor thing, and we're tapping into a similar psyche where ambassadors can join TourRadar or apply, and then they can earn money on the side either through affiliate links or booking travel or creating content. And we're going to be dropping something in about 3 or 4 weeks, which is pretty exciting for creators. So it's on the back of the app as well. So.
That's fantastic. Well, I know Travel Massive and Stay 22 recently did a study about the creator economy, and it revealed a lot of these insights, which is the vast majority of them don't earn a full living wage off of these. They hold full-time jobs, and they love traveling so much that they want to work with partners, and it's meaningful to them, the additional revenue that they generate from it.
Yeah.
But it's literally like 80% of the creators are doing it as a side hustle.
Correct.
And it's those micro or nano influencers that are actually driving a huge volume of the business.
We'll be right back. Hey everyone, Dan Christian here with a message for my friends over at WeRoad. If you're a travel advisor looking for the next big thing in group travel, you need to know about WeRoad. WeRoad is a community-driven, small group travel brand designed for today's connection-seeking traveler. Their secret, about 90% of WeRoaders start solo and end up with a whole new crew of friends. They have more than 3,000 trained travel coordinators whose entire mission is to spark connection from day one. WeRoad is built for travelers in their 20s, 30s, and 40s who want same age, same language groups, and they've already sent 200,000 travelers around the world, so the demand is real. And for the trade, this is where it gets exciting. WeRoad's new trade program gives advisors competitive commissions, flexible holds, marketing toolkits, and co-marketing opportunities. They offer training and dedicated support, plus flights aren't included, so you get to control the air, ancillaries, and pre- and post-stays. So it's time to partner with WeRoad. Give your clients the group trip that they'll actually brag about. Head to weroad.com/welcome travel advisors to get started. That's weroad.com/welcome-travel-advisors to get started.
Planning your next trip abroad? Stay connected the smart way with Olafly, the global leader in eSIMs for travelers. With coverage in over 200 destinations and a 4.6 out of 5 Trustpilot rating, Olafly is the go-to for international travel. Forget fumbling with SIM cards. Olafly's eSIM activates instantly with a QR code. You'll be online in just 2 minutes with unlimited data and no surprise roaming charges. Whether it's a short getaway, frequent business travel, or life as a digital nomad, Olafly has a plan for you. Get started today at esim.olafly.com. That's esim.holafly.com. In a world of endless travel options, how do you guarantee quality? The answer is curation, and it's the core of Civitatis, the leading marketplace for global tours and activities. Instead of just more options, their promise is more quality. Their experts handpick the best from over 90,000 activities in 4,000 destinations worldwide, ensuring every tour meets the highest standards of quality, availability, and price. They focus this winning strategy on capturing the world's fastest growing customer market, travelers from Latin America. By connecting these travelers to their global portfolio of experiences in native Spanish or Portuguese, Civitatis creates the powerful customer loyalty your business can count on. Their model is a proven formula for generating massive demand and driving industry-leading conversion. For the travel trade, the message is clear. Partnering with Civitatis is your strategy for capturing the massive outbound Latin American market and turning their growth into your revenue. Visit Civitatis.com for more details.
And now, back to the show.
The other thing I wanted to highlight too was your talk that you did today, because here's a really cool thing. And again, that's why I wanted to start the introduction the way I did, because, it used to be the case that we couldn't get on stage, even when I was at the Travel Corporation trying to represent Trafalgar and Kentucky and all those brands. And I knew the size of the business, and I couldn't understand why more people didn't want to hear our story or be able to talk about this category. And all of a sudden now you are a featured speaker at multiple Focusrite conferences. You're on a panel today. And I'd said to Travis just before we started recording, there was two people standing outside of the room that had come out after the session, Paulina from Flytographer and Alex from Zoftify, just to be specific about who they were, that don't actually know Travis, and said to me, that was the best session I've attended today. That was so interesting. And I was like, wait a second, oh, that's the one with Travis. And they're like, and you came out of the room, and I was like, it was so cool that being at an event like this, these are people that were just impacted by the session you just ran, the fact that you're on stage talking about this category, and other people are going, wow, and telling me that, and they don't even know you. And I'm just like, that's my buddy Travis. And so here we are.
It wasn't just me. There was a panel of people, but no, glad to hear that it was informative, and we had a pretty good chat. Sarah
Dines
Mariano, from Civitatis.
Yep.
And Angus from Hollybob.
Right.
And myself, yeah.
So tell everyone a little bit about what you guys talked about that had people coming out raving about it.
It was, we went, I think on a journey, but it started out talking a bit about the state of how each of us see the current, I guess, changes that we're all experiencing from different perspectives. So everyone from their own perspective spoke about it. And I think we're all facing different challenges, but what I tried to sort of highlight, and then there was actually a VC in there who asked a question about it. Customer acquisition is everything. So we know that in travel, that is for the B2C consumer side, how do you acquire customers efficiently and scalably is the challenge. And we know Google is changing so much. We felt that over the last 12 to 18 months with SEO. We were so reliant on it, and it's hurt us. But it's forced us now to pivot to find other, channels of acquisition. And so there was a good chat there about what people are doing. Is it B2B? Is it B2C? Is it paid search? I mean, Viator sort of said, well, we're at a scale that we're spending a lot, but it works. And I think it's true. If you have the money and you've got the machine you've built over years and years at scale, it probably does work. So, yeah.
Well, it's interesting. You mentioned something there, obviously, and I want to just dive into this SEO and AI and where the current challenges that we're facing in the travel industry. There's a book called "Who Moved My Cheese." Yeah. And I've seen it's like all of 80 pages, right? Yeah. It's iconic. And for those of you who haven't read the book, just go to Wikipedia, and in 30 seconds you'll get the gist of it. Yeah. But the part of it, and I've seen sales teams get trained on this, and it very much applies to the situation of SEO, which is that the premise of the book, of course, is that as soon as the cheese is moved, there's the mice that otherwise go back every day thinking the cheese is going to be there, and then there's the mice that set out to try and find where the cheese is going to be. And ultimately, those are the ones that survive and thrive, and the ones that keep going back will ultimately not survive. And so
you don't need to go to Wikipedia.
I've just done it. But your point, it's very relevant to the situation with SEO, because a lot of people are just trying to get it back. Yeah. And it's just they think they've done something wrong. I need to win back SEO. But the reality is that search volume isn't there the same way that it was, because AI is changing. And I know Brennan from Propellic, who's a great partner of ours. He did a session just before yours today about AI overviews. And then the reality is that the people are not visiting websites because they're getting the AI overviews instead. So one of the areas I know you're really focused on now is AI. And one of the developments for you was around chatbots and the importance of getting conversions with chatbots. So tell us a little bit about your journey with AI.
Yeah, it's been super interesting. And I think it's just about getting started with it, and when you try also to do it all yourself, as in try to access some of the tools and then try and build all this stuff yourself, there's so many good products out there now that you can leverage. And so we decided to go with a vendor to actually help us on that front, and that accelerated the time to market. And so now when we launched, we were 50% of the interactions from a customer on the website were being handled by the bot. And so we're like, okay, great, that's a first try. We're actually at 80% now.
Wow.
The difference is, so we now track people who interact with the chatbot and then go on to convert to a booking versus those who get to a human, so who we do pass to a human. There is about a 10%, 15% difference, in terms of but it's handling 80% of the volume. So it means that we can actually have the people who were potentially on those chats on more revenue generating things. So making calls or dealing with other, upsells or whatever it might be. So right. Yeah, it definitely has been a journey. And, we talked about data and stuff in the AI session this morning. It's really about setting the guardrails first, getting those guardrails right so that it can't go off and do stupid things like Air Canada did, I think, where they got sued or whatever else, but then giving it room and the data to be able to generatively create the stuff that maybe will get us to 85% or maybe 88%. And that's the journey we're kind of on now, is how do we take that next step?
Yeah.
So.
Well, in that exact example with Air Canada, which I've just happened to be familiar with, of course, being based in Toronto, and it's come up as an example. This is where sometimes when AI doesn't work, and in that example where it gave a price that was far lower, and Air Canada tried to say, we can't honor that price, and then the customer was like, well, AI offered it to me, and ultimately you have to honor that price. It doesn't matter if the company offered it and to the customer, and they had to honor it. I know some people it's freaked them out about using chatbots in case they go wrong. The reality is, obviously, they can go incredibly right and provide great efficiency for your business and great gains, and you've certainly seen that.
We'll be right back.
Today, 65% of travel queries trigger an AI overview. If your brand isn't showing up there, you're losing bookings. It's that simple. This is the new reality that Propellic, the AI-first digital marketing agency for travel, helps brands master. Their entire focus is on delivering what matters, performance bookings, not just clicks. They've done the research on how AI is changing everything from search to purchase. You can find their groundbreaking new report right on their website. While you're there, join over 1,000 travel marketers by subscribing to their newsletter, The Navlog. Stay ahead of the curve. Visit Propellic.com. Travel has changed, but many multi-day tour operators are still stuck with spreadsheets and disconnected systems. Today's travelers expect more: choice, flexibility, unforgettable experiences without the friction. That's where Captio comes in. Built on Salesforce, Captio is the modern platform designed specifically for multi-day tour operators. From tailor-made trips to group tours, rail to river, we bring your itineraries, bookings, payments, and operations together in one seamless system. With automation, real-time inventory, and supplier integrations, we make complex travel simple so you can do what you do best: serve travelers, not spreadsheets. Check out Captio.com for more details. PayCompass is the leading merchant processor built specifically for the travel industry. PayCompass makes it easy for travel businesses to get approved with high processing limits, so operators and agencies can scale without barriers. They deliver some of the highest authorization rates in the industry, backed by powerful chargeback mitigation services that protect revenue and reputation. Plus, with tools like virtual cards, PayCompass helps travel brands manage payments smarter and more efficiently. Simply put, PayCompass isn't just a processor. They're helping travel businesses grow stronger and faster.
And now, back to the show.
Tell us a little bit more about your roadmap with AI at TourRadar and some of the things you're going to be looking to highlight at our AI Summit at the end of October.
Yeah, so there's a ton of stuff we're doing around content, which is nothing exciting or revolutionary, but it's interesting to be combining your stuff that's hidden away in your database, basically, and combining that with your content that you have on your website or in your itineraries or in your brochures or whatever it might be, and then trying to add a bit of a personalization feel to it. Like, so your example for us is that we get the tour operator itineraries, which are really long, but pretty hard to read at times. We actually then know all the booking data around every listing. We know that 50% are Australians, or 30% are 25 years old. And so we start to sprinkle in information like that to try and help people go, am I a like-minded person who's going to book this? That's where video comes in even more as well. The more they interact with these reels that we've got, the more we'll understand what they're liking, and we connect all that together. And so right now, the first version of Moments that we launched today is literally, there's no smartness in the algorithm, put it that way. But likes, comments, and more machine learning type stuff is coming. And so we've got all the TikTok algorithm is, open source, or you can actually understand what that is. So we're really looking at how do we start to bring that AI component into what we're surfacing on the front end, because right now, I've talked about it here, there's not much innovation on the front end for AI.
Right.
It's all kind of below the surface, which I think is great, but at some point it's got to try and come to the surface, and we're getting closer and closer. But yeah, I mean, we're looking at everything from MCP servers, like we're looking how do we not be disintermediated, and with a good conversation this morning about, some Kenyan basket weaver that you want to find on ChatGPT. And then my point is, well, how the hell do you book that thing?
Right.
They're not connected. They have no real-time availability. They have no booking engine.
Yeah.
And that's really what we're trying to provide to all the partners we work with, their own MCP server, or that we're the payment rail. So we're the one who is feeding into these LLMs so that the agents can actually be using those rails to make these bookings. So there's different models, different plays. And so there's a lot of exciting stuff. And I'm really enjoying combining the mobile, the social, and the AI side and how we can bring it all to life.
Well, the area that I'm specifically bullish on for you, and then where I think you have a moat, to use that term that startups often use, in terms of how they protect themselves against competition or being disrupted in this instance of new distribution channels, is the fact that you have 2,500 partners and you have all of this access to inventory. You work with B2B partners, so you're well positioned in this world of agentic AI, where you want an agent to be able to actually act on your behalf to go and get you the tour that you want. Why wouldn't that agentic AI go to TourRadar and be able to bring that back for you? And this is where OTAs, like to use the Expedias and they are all on the move to make sure that they're working with LLMs and optimize towards them. So I'm sure that is obviously got to be a big focus for you and the team, is what used to be trying to work with search engines and make sure that you get crawled and indexed properly. Now you need to make sure that you are well optimized for every LLM out there that's going to be using your website. Even if it's not a consumer anymore, it's an AI model that is trying to get the information on behalf of its user.
Exactly. And I think the opportunity, and whether we get there by October when we have the summit, but is how do you put these tools a little bit more at the fingertips of SME, like tour operators, who just don't have the resource, who don't have the technical capability, but they want to be able to access this. And so, I mean, we've got tens of millions of messages that have been passed in the TourRadar platform between tour operator and customer and our agent, team. That's all now feeding the LLMs, and that's what we're creating FAQs for every tour, everything. Right. Where's the meeting point? Do you get an internal flight in Brazil from here to here? So all of that, it's there.
Yeah.
We've just got to surface that now.
Yeah. Last thing I want to ask you, given that, actually one thing I want to say and one thing I want to ask you, Travis. So the thing I want to say to all of our listeners is that Travis and his team kindly came on as the platinum sponsor for our AI Summit. So it's truly in partnership between Travel Trends and TourRadar that we're bringing this event together. So everywhere you see AI Summit, you see TourRadar, and you guys, Travis is going to fly across. We're looking to actually host it in a studio for the speakers that are going to be there. It's going to be a landmark event. So obviously I wanted just to recognize that. Thank you again for the partnership.
First of all, I mean, we wouldn't just sponsor if we didn't think you were doing awesome stuff. So yeah, we saw the first one, how successful that was, and obviously it's been great to see Dan, you evolve, and as we said, Dan 2.0. It's been awesome to see, and very happy to be supporting it. So
thank you very much. That means a lot, and what Travis is also referring to there, I'll just highlight it. Since my corporate days, when I used to come to events like this, and I'd be wearing a jacket with my little badge, it's finally coming to the point where Travis and Christian can say that you were different before. Yeah. There was a corporate Dan, and then there's this Dan 2.0. And anyway, this feels like it's the real authentic me. So thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So, but the thing I wanted to leave everyone off with, because I know you've got to run for a meeting, just in terms of the Focusrite, I know you were here for the launch, you're here for your session. Any other specific things that you're looking forward to, or any other highlights coming out of Focusrite Europe 2025?
The theme of the new agents, there has been a couple of conversations around it. I think it's still a little bit too surface level. I really want to see and understand use cases of what people are doing in this front. Yeah. And because it's like this whole vibe coding stuff. So you can create demos and prototypes, but things that are at production level that you can put into millions of visitors or tens of millions of visitors and it works. We're not there at all in so many cases. And I think that's what I'm looking for, is also chatting to people who have got anything that's at that scale. I think that's looking forward to that. So.
For sure. Travis, thanks again for our partnership, and thanks for being such a great colleague and friend over so many years. I look forward to many more collaborations, so we'll be speaking again soon, but thanks again.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Dan. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much for joining our latest episode of Travel Trends. I hope you enjoyed our conversation today with Travis Pittman, the founder and CEO of TourRadar, a true captain of industry. And as you heard me say at the beginning, a category that needed a captain, and there's no better captain for multi-day than Travis. I'm sure you feel the same way after hearing that discussion, and I'm very focused on a bright future for multi-day in 2026 and beyond, and look forward to seeing him, the team, and many of the multi-day tour brands at conferences throughout the year. And I'm going to continue on that theme into season 7 and season 8. We actually did an adventure series. We did a multi-day tour series. We've done an emerging multi-day tour series. And we're going to continue focusing on this incredibly important topic as we move into the new year. And remember that we post clips and highlights on our social channels, so you can check those out on Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn at Travel Trends Podcast. And of course, our monthly newsletter goes out, so make sure that you are subscribed at the traveltrendspodcast.com. And coming up next week, we're going to kick off our series on sustainability. We have 2 more deep dives left for season 6. Very important ones, too. Our next series on sustainability is brought to us by our friends over at Intrepid. Intrepid, of course, a large multi-day partner with TourRadar. And so we look forward to bringing those discussions over the next few weeks. And then we're going to finish off on aviation, a topic that we have not covered before. And I've just been recording these interviews, and there's so many interesting conversations that will really open up these discussions going into January 2026. And then as we prepare to launch season 7 in February. So make sure that you are subscribed on the streaming platform of your choice to be notified when new episodes go live. Thanks again to Travis, TourRadar, and the team for our continued collaborations. Thanks again to all of our listeners for joining us. And until next week, safe travels.